I'm Nuri Martinez, the President of the City Council. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. If you're going to continue to disrupt this meeting, I'm going to ask you to leave. Yeah, grow up. Seriously, man. We're trying to start a meeting. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Blumenfield. Bonin.
Present.
Buscaino.
Here.
Cedillo, absent. De Leon, absent. Harris Dawson. Correct. Krikorian.
Here.
Lee. Martinez.
Present.
O'Farrell. Price. Rahman. Rodriguez. 12 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of August 5th, 2022.
Ms. Rodriguez moves and Ms. Rahman seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolution for approval.
Mr. Harris Dawson moves and Mr. Buscaino seconds. Next.
Madam President, today is Tuesday. It's time for the flag salute.
We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Price, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Thank you, Madam President. Right hands over your heart. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Price. Madam Clerk, can you please run through the agenda?
Madam President, there are requests to continue item 12 to September 13, 2022, and item 14 continued to August 23rd, 2022.
Okay, without objection, that will be the order. Members, you wish to call any of these items special? Mr. Blumenfield?
Yes, item 15 for comment.
Item 15 for Mr. Blumenfield. Any other specials, members? Please press your button so I can see you. Did you press, Mr. Bonin?
16 for a separate vote, please.
Item 16 for Mr. Bonin.
Yep.
Ms. Rodriguez? 15? Are there any other members on the queue for specials on today's meeting? You see no other members. At this time, Madam Clerk, there are no available items for us to vote on. Is that correct?
That is correct. There are cards on items 1 through 26, 34, and 39 through 43. It's time for public comment now.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take multiple speaker cards. Mr. Arnold Sachs? And members, we're going to take 45 minutes of public comment. Mr. Arnold Sachs?
Come on, Mr. Sachs. We've got a lot of people waiting.
Mr. Arnold Sachs, you are speaking on all of the items, including general public comment. So why don't we start with your 3 minutes of items and then move into general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, and just, sorry, before we start, make it clear that's items 1 through 11 and 13, and then 17 through 43. Let's stick to the items because we've got a lot of people here.
Input. Do you pay attention to these agendas, by the way? Do you read them for the form or the content?
So let's continue with the items, Mr.
Okay,
Sachs.
so item number 1, there's actually no items on this agenda. This is notices for public hearing. Do you send out notices to the people for these lighting districts so they can attend these public hearings? And since they are public hearings, aren't they supposed to be exempt from the Brown Act requirements? There are no requirements on this agenda about the Brown Act, but public hearings are different from the agenda items. They're public hearings. People should be able to attend a public hearing without having to count against their time. Number 17 refers to a lighting district, and it says the tax is going to be for $57,000. but it's from 2021, 2020, 2021 tax year. This is 2022, 2023 tax year. So what the fuck you going back 2 years? You gonna collect that money? The other items are all for this tax year.
Mr. Sachs, hold his time. Can you not scream into the mic? It makes it very difficult for the interpreter to
I'm
interpret.
sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, there is no sign language interpreter anymore. Why
There's
not?
an interpreter to my left. Yes, there is.
So,
an
by the
interpreter.
way, so the other items noticed for the lighting districts are all for this tax year. So why is number 17 go back 2 years? We don't have an answer. Number 34 refers to the Los Angeles Housing Department. So why don't you combine the city's housing department with the county's housing agencies? We have a plethora of county agencies. We have a city agency. We have a federal minimum wage, which I don't think has been raised since the city has raised its minimum wage. And that means a lot of people are priced out of getting housing because GR is based on the federal minimum wage. It's all about the devil in the detail. Number 41 refers to a mayor's emergency. So about the monkeypox. So why can't he make an emergency to roll back some of these prices? Like on the price of gasoline or the price of food that always seems to be going up. Number 42 refers to some kind of track map, but there's no more mention of any Quimby fees. So that means it's losing parks.
Okay, you can go into general, Mr. Sachs.
Yeah, okay, my general public comment. By the way, there's an item here referring to grants. Grants are for 20 years. So what the fuck good is a grant that's for 20 years? People need money now. My public comment refers to people aren't reading their emotions into the minutes, so there's no record of the motions. You got to be able to read the motions into the minutes so there's a record of some action being taken. You don't do that, then there's no action being taken. That's why everything is so fucked up. By the way, I still think Jessica Law would make a great mayor for the city. You haven't put a reward together for the doctor that was killed at County USC in East Los Angeles. And you haven't put a reward together for the young kid who was shot at a marijuana dispensary whose mother was a member of the bargaining board for the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
The next speaker is C.D. Luz. Anyone here with that name? C.D. Luz, are you here? Is that?
Hi. First, I
you-
want to acknowledge that
hold
we're
on
on
for just-
Tongvalan and Tongva
Oh,
people are
speaker.
still alive.
Speaker, can you hold on so I can tell you what items you signed up for?
What?
You signed up for general public comment in items 1 through 14. So why don't you start with your items and then move into general public comment?
Oh, whatever. So why can't you give people housing? Giving people housing makes everyone safer. There are too many abandoned houses, and you're letting people die on the streets. There are a lot of unhoused families in LA, and you're leaving children on the streets. Stop speaking for kids. Let them speak for themselves. I know sometimes people can be scary, but there's a solution: housing. It means people can go through their issues and trauma in a safe space. Mind your own business and don't call the cops. Leave them to their own thing and let them get through it with housing. Listen and look at me and have respect. People shouldn't go to jail for having mental health issues or be on the streets for having mental health issues. People should get help. Do what's right and not what's easy. Nudie, you're a traitor to brown people, and I'm ashamed to
Okay.
call you a
Speaker,
brown person. You're a traitor.
Sorry, Speaker. So you're obviously on general. Okay.
The next speaker is Bella Lestrange. Are you here, Bella? Oops. You signed up for items 1 through 7 and general public comment.
Okay, I'm a resident of occupied Tongva land, a member of Reclaiming Our Homes, and also a member of Maternal Mental Health Now. And I just want to let everyone know that Nuri Martinez received an award from Maternal Mental Health Now for advocating for mothers with mental health issues. And I want to say that she should be revoked of this, because instead of helping mothers, she's giving more trauma. The shelters are not an option for families. They actually separate families. They criminalize children for even making noise. And it's not an option. And I know this because I used to work providing these resources for families. When I was in that same situation, I knew I wasn't going to cause more trauma for my children. And I was able to reclaim our house in March 2020 because you all weren't doing enough for our families. We had to take people power to do what's right for ourselves. And there's 3 empty homes per one unhoused person. Why can't you just provide housing?
right,
You want to keep
Speaker.
people safe? You want to keep
Speaker.
our children safe?
Speaker.
Give us housing.
Speaker, so that was obviously general.
The
Speaker,
expansion of 4118 will cause more
Speaker,
death.
Speaker, so that was obviously the general public comment. Do you want to speak to the street lightings or the street vacation?
Everybody
Okay,
else could
no.
talk
All right,
all the-
so thank you very much. So we're going to go on to the next speaker. We're going to go on to the next speaker. No. All right, thank you, Speaker. Please go sit down right now. You're disrupting the meeting. We're going to move on to the next speaker. Speaker? No. Okay. Thank you. There are a bunch of people in this room who all want to speak in a limited time. Thank you very much. So,
Next speaker.
so please.
Thank you.
Okay.
next-
So, Speaker,
Thank
you're
you,
disrupting
Speaker.
the meeting.
The next speaker is Dr.
Please.
Truthbay. Are you here? Dr. Truthbay, are you here? Thank you. No, you did speak.
Speaker, you're
Thank
disrupting
you.
the meeting. Please sit down now. You'll be ordered to leave.
Dr. Truthbay? Dr. Truthbay, you're speaking in general public comment, and you signed up for items 39 through 43 and 15 and 16. Go ahead. You can start with your items, please.
All right, first I want to thank you for calling me today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Whether you like what we say or not, we have a constitutional right to let you know how to fix these issues. So I want to go over 39, Martinez and Rodriguez, relative for funding, traffic calming measures, media maintenance for Council District 10. Do we not have a leader for District 10? I'm just confused. Herb Wesson, what's happening? District 10? Will the real leader of District 10 stand up? Okay, we have nobody. All right, so moving towards agenda number 40. Consideration for District 1 funding of $300,000 for public safety, community services, gang reduction, and prevention services in and around MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park is just like Skid Row. We have no leadership. We have no one can figure out how to house the homeless. You guys are in partnership with some of the gangs and acting like you're trying to help the people. So I want to know, what exactly do you guys do when you're not here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays? Do you deliberate? Do you have proposals ready? Do you actually execute stuff that's presented to you? Does your chief of staff follow through? Do you do a census in your own district? Do you engage with the homeless encampment in your backyard? Before you come and bring agendas, it shows that you are not in tune with homeless solutions, and we're okay with that. So Nuri Martinez, I do respect you as a woman, but as I stated before, I don't have someone that looks like me that's representing on this board when 59% of the homeless is black women. You don't have DV funding for domestic violence. And then when we go through the policies and procedures that you tell us to actually get funding, you have people like Lhasa that's in the forefront that absolutely have no clue
Let's get back
on
on
what
the
to do.
items. We can go to general, but let's get back on the items.
General public comment.
You want to go to general?
Every time Brown Act is being violated, that's $15,000. Every time that you do not house the solutions that's given to you, it's $10,000. I know it may seem like how that's going to happen. We don't let our right hand know what our left hand is doing. We just know that your time is going to be very limited, City Council. You have 15 districts for 4 million people, and you only have 5 county board of supervisors for 10 million people. 20 people over 15 million people doesn't make sense. That's why shit is not working. It's not working. So what's going to happen is that there is going to be some real people power coming in 2023. Just continue to not do your job and see how fast you'll be replaced by the people, for the people. Si se puede.
The next speaker is Amy Castillo. Amy Castillo. Amy Castillo, are you here? Amy Castillo, are you here?
Mr. Castillo?
If I don't see you, I'm going to call the next person. Amy Castillo? Is no one here with that name? The next speaker is Evan Taiba. Evan Taiba. Evan Taiba is not here. Martha Escudero. Martha Escudero. Next speaker is Victoria. Victoria is not here. Are you Victoria? You signed up to speak on items 1 through 7 and general public comment. Start with your items, please.
I'm here to talk about my friend Victor. He was an unhoused father who was living in an encampment with us. As a member of our encampment, Victor provided security and food to members of our community. Unfortunately, less than 3 weeks after moving into his Section 8 building, Victor was killed by police less than a mile from Section 8. If you really cared about the well-being of houseless families, if you really cared about the well-being of houseless children, you would do something to stop cops from willfully killing people on the street. If you really cared about stopping more families from becoming evicted, you would make sure that landlords were not evicting people who are waiting on their ERAP money to be distributed. There is a moratorium on evictions, and yet people are still being evicted to the streets while your city council sits here and does nothing
do you want to speak on
besides
the
provide
items?
more law.
So, Speaker, you've taken your general public comment. Do you want to speak on the items? No, sorry.
Thank you.
So again, Speaker, we want to go to the next speaker. Thank you. Thanks.
The next speaker is Hamid Khan. Hamid Khan, are you here? Hamid? Hamid, you're speaking on items 1 through 3 and general public comment. You can start with your items, please.
Oh, I put in items 16, 40, and general comments.
Those are already closed for public comment, but you can talk. Oh, 40?
Can you
Hold on. Mr. Sir, you did not sign up for 40. You wish to sign up. You want to speak on 40 as well? I cannot hear him.
We can't hear you.
You signed up for 1 through 3. You want to also speak on item number 40?
Yeah, 40, 16, and general comments.
You can speak on 16 in general public comment. I'll add 40, so you can speak on 1 through 3 and 40 in your items. So I'll give you 3 minutes.
All right.
And then your 1 minute for general public comment. You can talk about 16 if you wish.
With what 40 is saying. So the whole idea is about this whole community service and public safety and gang reduction. Now we know that Skid Row and MacArthur Park are not considered where people are existing. They are looked at as laboratories. They are looked at as laboratories. MacArthur Park has been the site where the first facial recognition technology was experimented. MacArthur Park has been the site where license plate readers have been experimented. MacArthur Park has been the site where closed-circuit television cameras have been experimented. Same thing has been happening with Skid Row. So what we are seeing now is this slay of hands with this bullshit language of community safety partnership and community policing, which is nothing more than goddamn counterinsurgency. These are counterinsurgency tactics which have been created to trace and track and monitor and stalk people. Now, when you bring in this garbage about coordinated entry system, we look at the broader information sharing environment, where people are being constantly followed and traced and tracked.
So do you want to go into item 3 or into general, Publica?
That. So then we get into all these
I think you're going to
monies
general, so we'll send you to general.
that are being asked to expand parks and rec services. The language, when you look at items 1, 2, 3, is about preschools, is about extending education. But in the same vein, as they're speaking about it, they're removing people from there as well. Now, who can have access to education? Who can have access to any learning spaces when families are living in their cars? When children are my daughter is a high school teacher, and she tells me that families are, and she teaches in South Central Los Angeles, and she goes, 3 kids in a car, 1 computer, where mom is looking for a Starbucks to dial in the internet, right? And then what you're doing is to remove people from these facilities and remove any access to education, because why? Because you hate people. You hate people living in poverty. You hate people who are not contributing to your thing. It is all about development. It is all about real estate. It takes me to my general comment.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Your time is expired. Speaker, you're disrupting the meeting, and there are a lot of other people who want to speak. Speaker.
Okay, the next speaker is
Speaker.
Steve Diaz. Steve Diaz? Steve Diaz, are you here?
Speaker, you're disrupting the meeting. Please go sit down. So you've been warned. So the council president just indicated that you should. Don't tell me to shut up. The council president has indicated you are expelled from the meeting. Sergeants, the council president has indicated that he is removed from the meeting.
Steve Diaz?
You've been ordered
Steve
to
Diaz?
quietly leave the meeting. Please do so now. Speaker, you're disrupting the meeting. You've been ordered to leave quietly. Please do so. Thank you.
The next speaker is Steve Diaz. Steve Diaz, are you here? Steve Diaz? Steve, you signed up for items 1 through 3 and general public comment. Why don't you start with your items?
So I'm just going to say good morning, City Council. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you and talk to you about how your policy is nowhere near what it actually is. 4118 a year ago was talked about as an opportunity to create housing, to ensure services were being delivered, and yet a year later, homelessness numbers are up again. Rental affordability is even at an outstanding rate, and more people are becoming houseless at the same time. Yet you continue to pass banishment zones as part of 4118, and you got so tired of banishment zones, now you said, let me just make a blanket policy that creates redlining across the city of LA for about 20 to 40% of the city under the auspices of children's safety. If it was really about children's safety, you would be investing more money in permanent supportive housing, wraparound services, and ensuring that people are able to access housing as needed, not into increased policing and a budget recession-proof police department.
Thank you,
4118 creates banishment zones and keeps people away from their neighborhoods.
Do you want to? Thank you.
The next speaker is Jay Swan. Jay Swan, are you here? Jay Swan? Jay, you signed up for item number 40 and general public comment. Why don't you start with your item number 40?
Yeah, I guess we could start with my item number 40. I've seen so many overdose deaths happening around MacArthur Park, and I've seen one harm reduction organization that works their ass off over there. And for what, $300,000 to LAPD, that's your guys' solution? More community policing? You know what that's gonna do, right? Criminalize the very people that you supposedly stand with, Nuri, right? The working class, the majority Latinx people of MacArthur Park, of Westlake? No, you're gonna give money to Rampart, a division that's notorious for using their money with gangs really well. Yeah. Google the crash scandal, anyone who doesn't know. I guess I'll just move on to general now. Okay. I'm glad that Kevin is here. I wonder where Gil went. Because when Kevin, I'm here for our folks at El Pueblo who are currently being swept 1 block away from City Hall. Kevin De Leon, in your district, when you brought the host team, the sheriffs, out with you and your team to do outreach, when you brought 4118 down on those folks, you went to KTLA and you said it was about housing, and the old ways where we used to push people from one block to the other, one district to another, right, Kevin? That's exactly what is happening today, as it does every other Tuesday, when people are moved across Cesar Chavez from your district to Gil's district. When I got into this work, I saw people getting swept from Gil's district back to your district, which was currently Sleazy Wheezies. But anyway, your point to the news, 4118 hasn't done anything except exacerbate that, and exacerbate the death and the harm that has continued. And I think it's really ironic that you made the Grand a 4118 zone. The Grand, which is owned by the same developers who got Sleazy Wheezy in the pen, by the way. You made that a 4118 zone and named it a homeless shelter, even though everyone is getting evicted in less than 2 months. So thank you, Kevin. How does that work out for you? Is it going to stay a 4118 zone that everyone gets evicted?
So we're going to move on to the next speaker.
Michael S. Michael S.
My middle name is Michael, so I know you wouldn't call on me.
You signed up for item number 40 in general public comment.
I know you skip over my name every time, so I put in my middle one this time. So item 40, as Hamid said and Joanna said, you're diverting money to LAPD, the same LAPD where their killings went up 160% last year. They shot 8 people in the month of August. And you're all going to give them more money, right? And they all continue to perpetuate this violence. But the weird thing about this, Cedillo's not even here, so we can't talk about it. Gil Cedillo wants to make it illegal to be poor in about 50% of his district. Meanwhile, this item 40, you're giving more money to the cops at MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park, Gil has made illegal to be poor in. So you're just using the police state to push poor people around and give them more money to do it. So congrats to all of you. General public comment, Nuri, no one fucking likes you. No, but here's the thing. Nuri cannot look up, but Nuri, we all know that your presidency is in danger. You're not going to be president the next go around. Your colleagues actually fucking hate you. Paul, you got your fucking ass whooped by Kenneth Mejia like it wasn't even fucking close. And then you sent out an email talking about an insurrection. Paul, I hope you go to your fucking deathbed haunted by the shit the activists and the organizers and the community members in this room had to say about you. No one fucking likes you, Paul. Retire, get on with your fucking life. You're done. Mitch, how's your fucking fence, bro? Mitch, that fence is just like your campaign. It's going down, dude. Joey, 1%. Not only does your colleagues don't like you, you got less than 1% of the vote, bro. No one fucking likes you. You're a loser. You're the biggest loser in this room. In this room full of losers, Joe Buscay.
Next speaker is Simon Tam. Simon Tam, are you here? Simon Tam? You signed up for item number 40 in general public comment.
I did. So number 40 is Gil Cedillo moving money out of the city general funds to the cops again. This happens like every other week. And my question is, where is the line? Like, where's the line for you guys? Like, what's too much? Because the LAPD has been bleeding the budget dry for 4.5 decades at least, right? This is no different than what your predecessors have done. So any of you who were thinking that you were going to go down in history as a great leader, you're doing nothing any different than your predecessors have done for 4 decades. Meanwhile, we have no money in the budget for anything else. We are so far behind on public housing. We are the second largest city in the nation, and we don't even crack the top 10 in terms of number of public housing units because the LAPD is bleeding us dry.
And you can go into general.
Great. For my general public comment, I want to talk about the rhetoric that you all have used regarding last week's city council meeting when we shut it down. It's been said that we were violent, which is not true. It's been said that police escorted us out. We left on our own after everybody got a chance to speak, which is how a public meeting should work. And to compare that to an insurrection, Koretz, Nuri, completely unfair, okay? Because this is exactly the kind of speech, and chanting at a public meeting is exactly the sort of thing that the First Amendment was intended to protect. And tell me, in what other job could you have where you're just put into your position and then you expect to have absolutely no feedback, no performance review for your entire term in that job? Tell me. Last week was not an insurrection, honey. It was a performance review, and you failed.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Pete White. Pete White, are you here? Pete, you signed up to speak on items number 1 through 4 in general public comment.
What items am I on? Say that again.
I said you signed up for items number 1 through 4 and general public comment. You want to start with your items?
Yeah, I'm gonna start where I start. So, good morning to all the folks in the audience. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm just here to say, it is very clear that this city council doesn't give a damn about children, about homeless families. Because if they did, the 17,000 children that you continue to put in front of this ordinance would not exist. I'm going to say also to item 40, the counterinsurgency, the community policing, that is just another community robbery by the LAPD, another robbery of the budget. We're going to say the only way that folks are safe, our social determinants of safety, is not more bullets and not more batons and not more police officers. For us, safety is defined by housing. Safety is defined by health care. Safety is defined by opportunities and not the politicking.
So
it is interesting.
You moved off.
It is interesting, City Attorney, that we allowed this City Council to compare last week's City Council meeting to an insurrection of white supremacists. I will say to you that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And those types of games that you play have deadly results. Nuri and anyone else that did not stand up and say, that was not an insurrection, that was democracy in action. How dare you play those stupid fucking games with folks who are here doing your job?
Do you want to speak
We
on
are not
items
going
1 through
anywhere,
3?
City Attorney. It sounds to me that you...
So, Speaker, do you want to speak on items 1 through 3? Sorry. Thank you. So, please.
Thank you.
Speak.
The next speaker
you're disrupting
is
the
Patina
meeting.
McCall.
Please sit down now.
The next speaker is Patina McCall.
All right, Speaker, the council president has ordered you to leave the meeting quietly. Sergeants, the man has been ordered removed.
Thank you very much.
Go.
The next speaker is Patrina McCullough. Patrina McCullough, are you here? Patrina? Anyone here with that name, Patrina? Next speaker, Alicia Smiles. Alicia Smiles. What is your name? Thank you. And then after you speak, it's Alicia Smiles, if that person is here.
Whatever. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. And how dare you say that the people that are here are not unhoused? How fucking dare you? I
You
live
are
in
speaking
District
on
14.
items
You don't
19, 26, and 43. No, sergeants.
These people are not on the fucking street. Bitch, I live on the fucking street. You piece of shit.
Members, we're going to take a short recess. Please head to the back.
Okay, for members of the
Sergeants,
audience,
please
in
clear
case,
the
in case
room.
you can't hear, we're taking a recess while this is being taken care of.
Members, we're going into a 20-minute recess.
Yo, do we have jail support for
And
our comrades
sergeants,
getting
please
arrested
clear
here?
the room.
Yo, calm the fuck down.